Hi, Billy.
Hello, everyone. All right, so.
And have everybody mute yourself.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have Nancy can mute everybody, please. Okay, so first of all, let's get started properly since it's the Lunar New Year to teach you how to do a Lunar New Year greeting. So first, when we bow at the beginning of class, this is a salute. So this is a little more formal. So you notice the thumb is kind of turned down, the hand is straight and fits against the knuckles. But as a casual greeting, you can turn your thumb back up, wrap your hands together, so they just curl over each other like this, and you just give them a little shake. Imagine you had some coins in your hand, and you were rattling them around. And so from here, you can say Shin, just like the body part, Shin Yin Kuai La. So shake your hands and Shin Yin Kuai La. Okay, so that's literally New Year happy. So that's how you could say Happy New Year. And you'll hear lots of other greetings too. Some are regional, but yeah, that's a good all-purpose one. So Happy New Year, everyone. And it is the year of the ox. So with this class, we're going to do some things a little bit differently. So we'll have some Tai Chi practice, but also I want to talk a little bit about some of the health benefits and how you can become healthy as an ox. You know, so that's a phrase you often hear, you know, people refer to being healthy as an ox or strong as an ox. And it's because the ox generally is a very healthy animal. And in the Chinese zodiac, the people born in the year ox, that's also considered a sign that tends to connote good health. So the ox is fairly steadfast and perseveres through obstacles in its way. And usually, you know, sometimes the ox is said to be not a good communicator, but you can think of it that also he's not a big complainer. You know, so it just faces the obstacles and overcomes them. And that's part of its secret of being healthy. So if we want to be healthy as an ox, we can think of emulating the ox in a couple of ways. So one is in eating habits. The ox is a plant-based eater. So we have known for a while that plant-based diets provide a lot of health benefits. So even if you're not going completely meatless, just to incorporate more healthy fruits and vegetables in your diet is very beneficial. So that's the ox diet. Another aspect of the ox is its spirit. So as I was alluding to, you know, the ox is kind of unflappable. You know, he doesn't get upset and jump around and anxious. You know, he's kind of known for just persevering and getting through obstacles with little complaint. So that's another lesson that we can learn from the ox. That, you know, when we let ourselves get agitated over things that we can't control, we're introducing anxiety and adding stress to our life. So we often think that stress is caused by outside things, but actually stress isn't the things that happen to us, it's the way we respond to those things. So that's why two people in similar situations, one gets really nervous and upset, and the other one is very calm. You know, if the situation itself was stressful, everybody in that situation would be stressed out. So we need to moderate our response to stress. And part of the reason the ox doesn't get stressed easily is because he's methodical and often considered slow to make decisions. But you know, you can consider that they're careful in making decisions. So if you think things through and make good decisions, then you don't have to second guess yourself and worry that you know, you made the wrong choice. So take your time in making decisions. And also, when you've made a good decision, then you have more confidence in continuing through. Even when an obstacle comes up, you can recognize that there's value in what you're doing, and you want to put into work to overcome that obstacle. And again, that's a lesson from the ox, that perseverance, to not give up under some hardship. Now, another thing to look at too is that sleeping habits. So the ox is known as a very hard worker, and gets a lot done, but also, oxes sleep very well. So we need to, recognize that sleep has a very restorative function. So we want to make sure that we're not staying up, late at night, stressed out, working on a project, and then shortchanging the sleep we get. That can be detrimental in the long run. So we can be more effective if we're well rested to face the obstacles that come up in daily life. And then another aspect too is movement. If you think about how the ox moves, he's not a tiger that's leaping around and active and so aggressive. So a tiger is very fast, can move quickly, but also tires quickly. The ox moves more slowly, but steadily, and it just keeps going and going. So, we need to recognize that benefit, that the race goes not to the swift, but to the slow and steady, and recognize the benefit of that. And that's also something that'll help us in life. And from the perspective of exercise, there are a lot of studies that show that moderate exercise is much healthier than strenuous exercise. So that elite athlete, somebody pushing their body close to the limits, actually their immune system ends up getting suppressed. And so we may admire them, they're very fit in all the things they can do, but they're actually not necessarily the most healthy. They're putting stress on the body and can pay a price for that later. So moderate exercise gives us the health benefits, but without reducing the strength of our immune system. In fact, moderate exercise, much like the ox, something that's rhythmic, repetitive, like walking. One of the reasons walking is such a good exercise because it fits that. It's a moderate exercise and it's rhythmic and repetitive. And so that will boost your immune system. But Tai Chi actually has many more benefits too over just walking. So we get the movement exercise of walking, but in that we incorporate a lot more coiling movements that are so good for the joints. So we move the joints, through a nice full range of motion, but without a lot of stress on them. And we help lubricate them. We help keep them healthy. We keep them more flexible by turning through the body as we move. We give the internal organs a little massage. So this helps with digestion. It helps with liver function. It helps the internal organs, it helps prevent adhesions from forming, where things can stick together, get attached. The organs should move freely amongst each other. And also, when we do that movement and focus our breathing to our abdominal area, we help stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So there's a plexus of nerves in the abdominal quadrant that is a big part of that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system that creates that relaxation response, the feeling you get. So that is not just reducing stress mentally, but it reduces stress physically. So when we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, it turns out that we actually boost serotonin levels in the body. So serotonin is the feel-good hormone, and it's actually anti-inflammatory. So it helps open up the blood vessels so the blood can move more freely. It helps reduce inflammation in the joints, so it becomes less painful to move. And not only are serotonin levels boosted, but cortisol levels are decreased. And cortisol is a stress hormone. So usually when you get agitated, the adrenal gland will flood you with adrenaline and also the cortisol. And so that tends to constrict blood vessels. It increases the blood pressure. It also has an inflammatory effect on the body. So we want to reduce cortisol levels if we can and boost the serotonin levels. And actually, most exercise will do that. Almost any exercise will increase the serotonin levels, decrease cortisol levels. But when you stop the exercise, very quickly they go back to the normal level. Tai Chi has the effect of when it boosts the serotonin levels, when you stop your Tai Chi practice, for hours later, the serotonin stays elevated. And same thing, the cortisol levels that are depressed, for hours after you've stopped your practice, the cortisol levels are still lower than normal. So I think it's partly because in Tai Chi, you're not just creating a physical state, which ends right after you finish exercising, but also a mental state that continues. So you get extended benefit compared to other forms of exercise. And a few other things besides the cortisol and serotonin, Tai Chi practice has been found to boost levels of interleukin 6. So interleukin 6 has anti-tumor properties. It also reduces inflammation in the body. However, it has an interesting property that as interleukin 6 levels rise, if they get too high, they actually reverse, and it can cause inflammation in the body. Now, Tai Chi practice, it's almost impossible to do Tai Chi in a way that gets the interleukin 6 levels to go too high. But if you're doing hard running or other really strenuous exercise, you can push those interleukin 6 levels too high. And interestingly enough, although I've known this involvement with Tai Chi for many, many years, one of my classmates is a biomedical researcher. I just recently learned that the interleukin 6 levels have been found to play a part in COVID illness. And so one of the things that Tai Chi does is it boosts your immune system. And so it helps your body increase its resistance to viral infections. So your body becomes more resilient, recovers more quickly, and avoids the illness in the first place. Oh, and then one other factor about the interleukin 6 is it changes your metabolism so that when you exercise, you burn more of your calories from fat than you normally would. So a lot of exercise, it's a mix. You use blood sugar levels, the glucose that's readily available in the body first. And then if you're exercising strenuously, you may actually protect the fat in your body and break down protein to get energy. But in the Tai Chi practice, the interleukin 6 levels increase, and it helps your body to go to using up fat stores first. So you can actually increase the percentage of the fat that you break down from your body and use in your energy production. So many health benefits from the Tai Chi practice. And I mentioned the plant-based diet too, so I just want to throw out there that we're going to have a virtual cooking workshop as part of our Lunar New Year celebration that will be on preparing plant-based dishes. Then also tea has been known for being calming to people. So one of the other workshops we'll have is a virtual tea tasting where you can get kits of the teas that we're going to sample and then prepare them at home along with our host, certified tea expert, Lunar New. Okay, so lots of health benefits from the practice of Tai Chi, and I say a lot of them can relate back to this attitude of embodying that spirit of the ox, of being calm, steady, and not responding, to obstacles and problems that occur. You slow and steady wins the race. Okay, very good. So now we've talked about how Tai Chi and Qigong exercises can have a lot of these benefits. So I think it's time for us to do some. Okay, so let's start with your feet a comfortable distance apart. And then from here, I want you to put your palms together and we're going to rub them briskly. We want to get some heat to the palm of our hands. And then we're going to take the hands, put them on the back of our neck and rub from side to side. So part of this is the benefit of the massage of the neck. The other part of it is that we're moving our shoulders. Good. And then if you're wearing glasses, take them off for a moment. So the next exercise, we're going to put our palms together and rub them briskly. And I'm going to show you the lowest cost facelift you can get. So rub, get some heat, and then bring your hands by your chin, push up your cheeks, go over your eyes, back over your hair, and then on the side, pull down, let your ears fold. And back to the chin. So up the front and come down the side, fold the ears. So we want to push up on the face to help reverse the action of gravity. And then we want to fold the ears to give the ears a little massage. Good, one more time. Now, go to the top of your ears and pinch them between your finger and thumb and rub about 9 times. Move towards the middle of the ear. And then come down to the earlobe. And then pinching the earlobe, tug it gently down and away from your body. And then come back up to the top. Center. Earlobe. And tug. Good. One more time. And tug. Good. And then cup your hands. You're going to press them against your ear a little bit like a suction cup. And then, so don't do it yet or you can't hear me. Okay. So you're going to press it against your ear a little bit like a suction cup. And then we're going to pull away to get a little pop, just a little bit of release of pressure on the eardrums. So press. Pull away. Press. And one more time. Good. And then make your hands like claws. So curl your fingers like this, but instead of scratching, we're going to push the hands the opposite way. So bring the hands to the top of your hairline and then press back. And you can apply a good bit of pressure as you do this. Sorry if you just got your hair done, but in COVID crisis, who's doing that? Okay, now go on the side. And again, at the top. And the side. And again, don't be afraid to apply some pressure. And one more time. Top. And side. Good, and relax. So if you ever get a headache, try this, pressure, so you want to really press in as you push, but because the nails are in the opposite direction, you won't scratch yourself. And do it 3 times in the top, 3 times on the side, and then repeat the cycle 3 times. And, if you start with a headache, I can tell you it'll probably be gone by the time you finish the cycle. Okay, good. Now, we're doing a lot of work, with stimulating nerves in the face because it's close to the head. So this is good for the brain. All right, so now we want to move our shoulders. So our shoulders, it's a kind of an odd joint. It's not a ball and socket. It's not a hinge joint. It's, if you look at it, it's kind of held together with duct tape and baling wire. Not a strong design. So what makes it work is when the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and cartilage all stay healthy and are being used. If they're not being used, they start to deteriorate and that joint starts to fall apart. So one of the biggest problems is that we don't lift our arms higher than our head enough. So one way to ease into that is put your hands on your shoulders and you're going to bring your elbows up, then let them come forward. In front, I want you to think about bringing your elbows towards each other. Feel your chest kind of folding in and the back rounding, and then go back, hold the elbows back, let the chest open up, and then circle, collapse, expand, collapse, expand. Good. Now reverse direction. Same thing, coming together in front, opening up as you go back. Now alternate. Now as you do this, turn your waist. So turn your hip towards the hand that goes in front. And again, as you come up, bring your elbow higher than your shoulder. So you can feel a little bit like a sea turtle swimming with flippers. Change directions. Now take one arm and circle it back. So Tai Chi is a type of Qigong. So Qigong literally translates as energy work. But Qi is a word that has many meanings in Chinese. So it can refer to a lot of different things. So for example, weather is called Tian Qi, or the heaven or sky Qi. Change directions. So one meaning, you can think of it as just meaning breath. So Tai Chi is a type of Qigong, and what we're doing here are a variety of Qigong exercises. Other hand, circle back, but they're not directly Tai Chi. We have principles we're using of Tai Chi movement. And so Tai Chi, a lot of times people think it's about learning to do a form, learning a routine. But actually it's not. It's about learning how to move properly. Change directions. So the forms or routines that we practice are actually one of the tools that we use to help us learn how to move correctly, how to use our bodies. Good. So we need to make sure every day we find an excuse to lift our hands higher than our head. If your posture is deteriorating, you're starting to have issues with your shoulders, then make a rule, for example, that every time you walk through a certain doorway in the house, you have to reach up and touch the top of the doorway. So something as simple as that, a little change, will help improve the condition of the shoulders. Okay, so now we want the shoulders to be nice and loose. We're going to put the feet about shoulder width apart, let the knees bend a little bit, and then we're going to keep the eyes looking forward and just turn through our waist. So let the arms hang loosely like pieces of rope that we just fling around. And we keep the eyes looking forward because at this point, we don't want too big of a turn yet. Just a gentle movement in the waist. So this is so good because the twisting along the spine helps stimulate synovial fluid production in the disc to help keep them lubricated, keep them more resilient. Also, we're stimulating most of the nerves in the central nervous system running through that spine. Now reach a little higher, touch your shoulders. Again, keep the arms loose, so a little tension to lift the arm up, but as soon as it touches, let it fall back down, relaxed. Good, you're doing a good job, so reach a little further, give yourself a pat on the back. Now continue with this one, or if you don't have any shoulder issues, try bringing your hand to the shoulder on the same side as the hand. So this one, turn your body. You have to turn from side to side to make it work. Good, and relax. So, I was talking about how this is so good for waking up the central nervous system. Some people say, oh, it's better than a cup of coffee to wake up in the morning. So do this, go through the little routine. And in fact, if you watch the Olympics, almost every Olympic athlete, no matter what their discipline, you see Michael Phelps getting out there ready to set a world record in swimming. And you'll see him turn his body like this. Okay, you see the power lifter getting ready to go set a new world record, and he gets out there and getting his body loosened up. So when you activate that central nervous system and then do physical activity, our studies show that you get about a 10% increase in performance, by just having that kind of wake up. Okay, so another wake up, stimulate the nerves in the arm. So the next one is not just about stimulating the nerves and the blood flow through the arm, but we're giving the arm a little shock, so it helps improve bone density. And so in Tai Chi practice, we do a lot of things where we have movements where there's a little bit stamping to provide a slight shock to the body. So not hard, but a vibration. And these have long been said practices that help make the bone stronger, improve bone density, strength of ligaments and tendons. Actually, modern science has come to bear that out. There was a study in tennis players where they found that tennis players had 30% higher bone density in the hand that held the racket, because every time they hit the tennis ball, on the strings, they got that little zing, that little vibration through the arm. And that tricks the body into thinking it's under more stress than it actually is, and helps it to focus on building up bone density. So this one can put your right arm out, palm up. In the left hand, we're going to tap. Go up the inside of the arm, then down the outside. Up, down, up, down. And one more time. Good, other arm. So you don't have to tap hard enough to bruise yourself, but you want to feel a little bit of that stimulation to the skin. Like I said, stimulating the nerves, stimulating blood flow, and just a little vibration along the arm to stimulate that bone density. Good. All right. And then put your palms together, rub briskly again. A little faster, get some heat, some friction, and then take it to your lower back, rub up and down. And then tap. Tap the lower back, not your bottoms. Then put your palms over your kidneys. So if you put the hands just below the lower ribs, the fingertips point towards each other, towards the spine. Cover that area up with the warmth of your hand, and then rotate from your center. So this, we want to feel the waist, the hips, the knees moving freely. So this is different. Sometimes people do trunk rotations like this. This is a very different feel. We want to have this revolving loosely from the center. Change directions. Good. Now, interlace your fingers and then keep the palms a little separated so you can turn the wrist more freely. So Tai Chi is good physical exercise, but it's also mental exercise as well. And you'll find that sometimes things work better on one side of the body than the other, or change directions. Some things work better in one direction than the other. And as we start learning about using our body more correctly, we often find that we have habits we're not even aware of. So for example, I bet whenever you interlace your fingers, you probably always interlace it the same way. So take your hands, uninterlace them, and then put the different thumb on top. So the opposite of what you normally do. Now try to turn a circle, and it probably feels very odd. Change directions. Go up and down. So one of those little things, like I said, the habits are just so ingrained, we never even think about it. Okay, now in case that's driving you crazy, then interlace the fingers the way you normally do, and then drop them to your waist. Okay, so for this next exercise, this comes from an old Qigong set known as the Ba Duan Jin, the 8 pieces of brocade. Okay, so this is the first movement of the 8 pieces of brocade. 2 hands hold up the heavens. So we want to stand with our feet about shoulder width apart, have a slight bend in the knees. Keep the back upright, so we don't want to lean or arch the back. We want to keep nice and straight and relax the shoulders, let the arms hang down loosely. Then from here, we're going to take a deep breath in as we bring our hands up towards our chin. Then we're going to breathe out. We're going to look up, then look forward. Squeeze your ears with your shoulders as you rise up on your toes. Then breathe in, sink back down. Breathe out, stretch to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out, stretch to the other side. Breathe in. Breathe out, float your arms down the center. And again, breathe in. Out. Reach up towards the sky. Imagine you're a small child being lifted by your wrists. Breathe in, sink back down. Breathe out, stretch to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out, stretch to the other side. Breathe in. Breathe out, float your arms down the center. And once more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now slide your hands down to your knees. Turn your knees in circles. So again, pay attention to your body. make the circles as big or as small as you like, whatever is comfortable for you. So it doesn't matter how big the circles are, just that you're moving. Change directions. And nothing we do should cause pain. So if something hurts, modify it or don't do it. Come up, put your right foot behind you, turn your ankle in circles. So among the many health benefits of Tai Chi, reverse, one is that it is probably the most effective thing you can do for improving your balance and reducing falls. The foot circle. In fact, a study last year found that Tai Chi was not only more effective than other exercise programs, reverse directions, but 40% more effective than medically designed fall prevention programs. Put your right foot in front, touch the toe lightly. Now trace a big circle with the foot. So here the challenge is to touch lightly. Don't just circle in the air, which might seem like it's harder, but try to maintain a light contact. Change directions. Other foot, circle. And reverse. And feet together, turn your knees together. And again, the circles adjust, big as small, whatever is most comfortable for you. Reverse directions. Then separate the knees, go down and around. Reverse. So in a good Tai Chi session, you want to move every joint in the body and use every muscle. Straighten your legs, press back above your knees, and stretch your head forward. Try to make your back nice and flat. Then bend your knees. Squat. Only go as low as is comfortable for you. It's not a contest. And my rule in class is however low you go, you have to be able to get back up by yourself. And then stretch, let your arms hang down. And squat. And stretch. Stretch to your right. Stretch to your left. Stretch to the center. And bend your knees slightly. Tuck your tailbone under. Curl up slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. And then give your arms and legs a little shake. Just fling the tension out of your body. Okay, now we're going to step out with your left leg to a bow stance. So bend the front knee so it's over top of your foot. Keep the back leg nice and straight. Keep your back upright. So instead of leaning forward and pushing forward like this, think about pushing your back hip towards the floor. Get a nice stretch, open up that hip joint. And then shift into back stance, straighten the front leg, bend the back knee, Again, be sure to push it out. Try to keep the knee over top of your foot. Don't let it collapse in like this. And then shift into a lunge. Lift the heel on the back foot. Again, try to keep your back upright. And come up. Now, step out with the right leg to a bow stance. Again, knee over top of the foot, back leg straight. Keep your back upright. Shift to back stance. And then shift into a lunge, lift the heel on the rear foot. And then come up, put your feet apart, palms down. So this is another one that's good for balance and bone density. Bone density in the legs. So you're going to shift to your left, lift up your right foot and hand. Imagine lift it up by a string, then cut the string, let them drop. So don't try to stamp your foot as hard as you can against the floor. Just let it fall. Gravity. Shift, lift, and drop. Shift, lift, and drop. So just a light impact, a little bit of a thud when your foot lands, all you need. Now slow down, lift, and hold. So if you have balance issues, you don't have to lift your foot very far above the ground. Other side, lift and hold. So as soon as the foot comes off the ground, you're working on your balance. And down. Good. Now, let's get back to the shoulder girdle. This next exercise, bring your arms up, and then we're going to pull the elbows back to the side. We're going to go 1, and then a little bit of a bounce, 2. Then stretch out, 3, a little bit of a bounce, 4. Then up and down, 5, bounce 6, 7, bounce 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Hands in front of your waist, fingertips in, elbows out. Bend your knees a little bit. Turn to your right. Reach up with the left arm and stretch your right hand towards your heels. And then turn back to the center. And then turn the other way. Reach your right arm up, stretch your left hand towards your heels. And then come back to the center. Good. And then bring your feet together. Open your right foot. Seek your way to the right. Let your left foot swing up and out. Put your foot flat. Keep your legs straight and stretch forward. And then come up, lift your toes, and then slide down again. And try to pull back on your toes if you can reach them. And come up and bring your feet back together. Open your left foot. Sink your weight to the left. Let the right foot swing up and out. Put the foot flat. Keep the legs straight and stretch forward. And up. Lift your toes. Slide back down. And come up and bring your feet back together. Good. Now shake out your arms and legs. And if you need a quick sip of water, grab it now. And then we'll come back, have about 10 more minutes of work. All right, if you're rehydrated, let's get restarted. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you want to keep your joints healthy, the cartilage in the joints is probably about 70% water. So you want to make sure that you stay well hydrated to keep that cartilage resilient. And so it has a little bit of sponginess, can help protect the joints. You don't want it to get dried out and brittle, and then you start having tears in cartilage and problems in your joints. Good. All right. So now we're going to challenge your coordination a little bit. We're going to work on some silk reeling exercises, but we'll break it down at first. So start just having your feet a comfortable distance apart. Put your right hand out in front. Extend it about 80%. So we want a slight bend in the arm, not completely locked, but we don't want a sharp bend. So about 80% extended as though you're reaching out to press open a door. Okay, when you do this, push it. If you're facing towards the wall, you want your hand to push a little bit towards the corner of the wall. Now you're going to let it drop down in a scooping motion, turning towards your pinky. And at the bottom, you're going to be palm up. Then let it continue up. It gets about shoulder height, and then turn towards your thumb and let it sweep around. So we go down the side, across the bottom, up the other side, across the top. So a little bit like drawing a box. Down one side, across the bottom, up the other side, across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now switch to the other hand. Extend your left hand out. So again, push it towards the corner of the room, about 80% extended, so you have a slight curve in the arm. Not too much, not too little. Fingertips up. And then from here, 1, drop down the side. 2, go across the bottom. 3, up the other side. And 4, across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pause there. So everybody's handling that just fine. So now we're going to do both hands at the same time. So we're going to do the same thing we were just doing, but out of phase. So start with the right hand down. So 1 hand goes up while the other hand goes down. 2, one hand goes across the bottom, the other hand goes across the top. 3, one hand goes up, the other one goes down. And 4, across the top, across the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now in Tai Chi, we don't like sharp corners. So I want you to make the movement a little rounder. Imagine instead of a box connect the corners of a box with the circle. So the movements become a little bigger, a little bit rounder, but still have the pattern. One is at top, one is at the bottom. One goes up, one goes down. So the hands are balancing each other, yin and yang. Good. Now closing by gathering a big bubble of air, pressing it down to your center, sinking. Good. And then put your hands on your hips. So we covered the hands. Now let's talk about what we're going to be doing with the legs. We're going to be shifting from side to side. So shift your weight 70% to your right. Have the knee over the foot. Shift your weight 70% to the left. Again, the weight-bearing leg, we want the knee over top of the foot. So the weight is going straight down from the knee through the leg. So don't want to be here or here. Try to have that calf parallel to the ground. So shift to the right, shift to the left. Again, fairly easy. So now let's add in another element. Shift to the left. Now turn your body 45 degrees to the left. Shift to the right, turn 45 degrees to the right. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Continue, make the movement smoother, more flowing. So before the shift completes, start your next turn. Feel the legs active, strong. They should be working, but not straining. If they're straining, bring your feet closer together. Stand a little taller. Good. So remember I told you that Tai Chi was as much exercise for the brain as it is for the body. So here's where we're going to work the brain. We did the hands, we did the feet, we're going to put them together. So shift to the left, bring your left hand up, right hand down. Now as you shift to the right, reverse the hands up and down, turn to the right. Shift to the left, the hands go up and down, turn to the left. So we shift and then we turn in the direction we shifted. Shift left, turn left. Shift right, turn right, about 45 degrees to the side. Let your eyes follow the hand that's on top. When you shift right, the right hand is on top, turn to the right. You shift left, the left hand comes to the top, turn to the left. And just turning about 45 degrees, not too big of a turn. Don't need a lot. Face one corner, shift, face the other corner. So this is cloud hands, silk reeling. So it has so many of the benefits of Tai Chi incorporated in this one motion. We're getting weight-bearing exercise, shifting the weight from one leg to the other. We're moving the joints through a nice full range of motion. We're turning the waist, giving the internal organs a massage, activating the spine. We're keeping the brain busy, the eyes focusing on the hand at top. Let your eyes follow that hand around. Good. And then closing, again, like gathering a big bubble of air, pressing it down to your center. Let your whole body sink and then come up and shake out your arms and legs and relax. Okay, so although it might seem like this was just a very gentle workout, don't be surprised if you end up being a little sore tomorrow. I said in a good Tai Chi practice, we want to move every joint in the body. We want to use every muscle. And some of those muscles don't get used very often, so they complain at first. But the good news is that the muscles will adapt pretty quickly. And so if you do have any soreness, the key is actually do a little more movement. Get that blood flowing, get your circulation going, and your body will recover more quickly. Also, stay well hydrated and never underestimate the power of a nice soak in a bubble bath. that can do wonders for you. Good. All right. So let me have Nancy, if you have some announcements you'd like to make. It's my wife, Nancy.
Hi. I just want to remind you, for those who just came in, and just as a reminder for everyone else, that we are celebrating the Lunar New Year, as we have done for many, many years. And the deadline for the virtual tea tasting is tonight by midnight. Information is on our website under jingying.org, JINGYING.org, and just click on the Chinese New Year link, or Lunar New Year link. And then also we have, excuse me, a family Kung Fu class on the 18th. We have a free homeschool Kung Fu class this Friday. And then we also have a virtual cooking class on the 25th. So I will be sending also some information to the new people that joined us tonight. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. And great to see everybody. It's kind of nice to be able to do this from home.
Okay. And then, I just want to mention that this is a trick that Nancy discovered, is that if you're using Zoom on a computer, if you press the space key, it'll unmute you for as long as you hold down the key. So if anybody has any questions or comments, you can feel free to unmute yourself and chime in.
Thank you, Billy. I've missed being with you.
Oh, great to see you, Terry. All right.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one thing that's great about Tai Chi is something that I've heard of called as uncommon moves. So we commonly sit and lie down. That's something we do a lot of. But as you notice today, especially in the warm up with the Qigong exercises, you're doing moves that you don't regularly do. So it's great to do these things because when we're younger, we take a lot of things for granted. But as we get older, just reaching up over our heads to grab something off of a shelf or turning to reach for something, if we don't keep those areas exercised, we can find ourselves in trouble. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, and carrying on from that point just a little bit, the idea our bodies basically, like to adapt to be able to just barely do the demands that you put on them. So if you're not demanding very much, your body soon becomes only able to do not very much. And so those uncommon moves, by challenging your body, it keeps it adapting. And things, as simple as, like I pointed out, when we interlace our fingers, we always tend to do it one way. So we have certain movements that we tend to do and other movements that we don't. And we lose the ability to do those movements if we don't do them. So again, Tai Chi, by trying to move all the joints, use all the muscles, it enables them to be there when we need them. So whether it's recovering our balance from a near fall, or just you need to reach for something that's in an odd place, you can do it. So the philosophy of health here is very much one of, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we want to make sure we use it and keep using it so we can keep going. All right, great. So let's go ahead and finish up. So can bow here with a salute, and then also here with a Happy New Year. Xin Yin Kuai Le. Xin Yin Kuai Le, everyone. Give yourselves a hand. Thanks for joining us tonight, and hope to see you at some of the other events we'll have coming up for the Lunar New Year. Take care, everyone.